Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a pretty fascinating approach to understanding one of the absolute most vital institutions in India. We are going to look at the very pinnacle of financial leadership. Imagine, just for a second, that you're casually scrolling through a job board and you stumble upon what has got to be the single most powerful job posting in the entire country. We're talking about a role that literally carries the weight of a nation's economy on its shoulders. So today, we're breaking down the ultimate job description, the Governor of the Reserve Bank of India.
But before we get into the crazy qualifications and responsibilities, let me just ask you a quick question. Think about the physical rupee notes you handle every single day. Have you ever actually stopped to look closely at the signature on them? Well, that signature isn't just some administrative formality. It represents a promise, a rock-solid guarantee of value, and this immense, tangible power that dictates the financial heartbeat of over 1 billion people. So who actually holds the pen?
The answer, of course, is the Governor of the Reserve Bank of India. You know, it's so easy to think of economics as just these abstract numbers floating on a screen, but that signature, it grounds the whole thing in everyday reality. Every single time you buy groceries or just pay for a quick cup of tea in cash, you are relying directly on the authority vested in this exact job title. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to cover 5 things today. Meeting India's central bank, the immense powers of the governor, their specific daily responsibilities, seeing if you actually qualify for the gig, and finally, looking at the historical keepers of the currency.
Starting right off with Section 1, meet India's central bank, basically the employer.
The Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI, has a remarkably rich foundation. It was established way back on April 1st, 1935, under the RBI Act of 1934, which was formed based on the recommendation of the Hilton-Young Commission. And here's something kind of wild. It actually started out as a privately owned bank located in Kolkata. It didn't shift its headquarters to Mumbai until shortly after, in 1937. And then, following India's independence, a massive shift occurred. On January 1st, 1949, this crucial financial institution was fully nationalized. So what does the internal team structure look like today? Well, the RBI consists of a core team of 21 key members. You've got 2 government officers, 14 directors, and 4 deputy governors. But sitting at the absolute pinnacle of this structure, the ultimate final decision maker is precisely one individual. The governor. They are the single head of the Central Bank of India. Which brings us to Section 2, Powers of the Governor. And we're talking monumental authority here. Just think about the sheer scale of this domain. As governor, you are literally the banker's banker. You head all the commercial banks in the country. Your decisions directly influence both micro and macro economies. You hold control over the stock market. You provide the signature on currency notes, like we just talked about. And broadly speaking, you have complete control over the entire monetary, currency, and credit system of the nation. It is a rapid-fire list of powers that pretty much dictate the financial health of the state. Let's move to Section 3, the governor's responsibilities. Basically, what they actually do on a daily basis. And this brilliantly illustrates the big difference between having sweeping, abstract authority and executing strict, everyday administrative duties. On one hand, you have the broad power of controlling the monetary system. Huge, right? But on the other hand, the actual specific action means you're the person responsible for issuing licenses to open new foreign and private banks. You're the one setting the exact parameters for the whole financial system, specifically by prescribing minimum lending rates and the interest rates on standard savings accounts. And these responsibilities definitely don't stop at domestic borders. Internationally, the governor has to actively manage external trade and payment. Step 2, they must promote the orderly development of international financial relations. And Step 3, they are responsible for the maintenance of the foreign exchange market in India, specifically operating under the guidelines of the Foreign Exchange Management Act of 1999.
Domestically, though, the daily responsibilities touch almost every single layer of society. The governor must formulate monetary policy to maintain economic stability. They monitor everything to ensure there's an adequate supply of coins and currency notes out there. And yes, they are also officially tasked with destroying and literally burning money that is no longer fit for circulation. Through the urban bank departments, they supervise primary cooperative banks. And crucially, they're tasked with facilitating and monitoring the flow of credit to small-scale industries as well as the rural and agricultural sectors. So your job isn't just Wall Street, it's Main Street and the rural farmlands too.
Okay, Section 4, do you qualify? Let's look at the candidate requirements. The candidate requirements for this role are exceptionally rigorous, to put it mildly. Historically, early governors like C.D. Deshmukh or Bengal Rama Rao were actually part of the Indian civil services. Today, the criteria have expanded a bit, but the bar remains incredibly high. You need a graduate degree, a postgraduate degree, or to be a chartered accountant. For work experience, you must have served in institutions like the IMF or World Bank, been a chairman or general manager of a bank, worked at a reputed financial organization, or served in the government of India's Ministry of Finance. Furthermore, to maintain total independence, you absolutely must not be a member of parliament or the state legislature, and you cannot hold any other office for profit, period.
But here is a genuinely surprising fact. If you meet all of those intense professional qualifications, the minimum age requirement to hold the future of the nation's economy in your hands, it's just 35 years old. Think about that contrast for a second. The massive, sweeping weight of a nation's entire economic system being managed by someone who could, theoretically, be just 35.
Now, if you actually get the job, how long do you get to keep it? The Constitution specifies a strict 3-year tenure, though it can be extended for an additional 2 years. The hiring and firing process is also quite unique. The governor isn't appointed directly by the Prime Minister's office. Instead, it's done on the recommendation of the Union Finance Minister. And as for termination, there are only 2 ways you leave the post, either by submitting your resignation directly to the President of India or by being explicitly dismissed by the President.
Finally, Section 5, Keepers of the Currency. Let's look at the Employee Hall of Fame.
Now, what's really interesting here is looking at the historical firsts that have shaped the institution. Sir Osborne Smith was the very first person to hold the title of RBI Governor, serving from 1935 to 1937. Then we have Sir C.D. Deshmukh, who took office in 1943 and served through independence all the way to 1949, holding the amazing distinction of being the very first Indian RBI Governor. And bringing us right into the modern era, we have Shaktikanta Das, who took on the role in 2018 and continues to serve as the current RBI Governor through 2026.
Spanning from 1935 all the way to today, through times of war, independence, massive economic booms, and global recessions, there have been exactly 25 individuals who have successfully secured this ultimate job title. Just 25 people who have signed the currency and steered the financial destiny of India.
So the big takeaway here is that this isn't just some back-office administrative role. It is the absolute cornerstone of India's economic stability. We've seen the monumental powers, the heavy daily responsibilities, and the insanely strict qualifications required to even sit in that chair. As we look ahead past the current tenure, it leaves us with one provocative thought to end this explainer. Who will be the 26th governor to step up to the ultimate job and hold the future of our monetary policy in their hands? Keep learning, keep analyzing the systems around you, and I'll see you in the next explainer.